more than half of professional counselors have a student loan debt, owing roughly 113% more than the national average. 113% more than the national average. And of course, counselors from marginalized populations reported the highest amount of debt. And this survey is a survey of 11,000 respondents from 2024. 34% of counselors hold a second job to supplement their income. 34% of counselors have a second job. Now, there's a lot of job satisfaction. Like 90% say they enjoy their work and feel appreciated by their clients. That's excellent. Wonderful. My issue is that the debt is so high. And if so many counselors are not compensated in such a way that they would need a second job, then that's going to impact the quality of their work, right? Now, we are trained as counselors to check in with ourselves and consider how our personal lives impact our professional lives. Absolutely great. But how can we do the best that we possibly can and be as present as possible if we are worrying about paying off debt and if we're worried about finances? That's insane to me that we would have to do that. And I get it. A lot of it, most of us, hopefully, go into this work because we want to help people. And that's our primary focus. And within our counselor programs, the focus is on clinical practice. That makes sense. It makes a lot of logical sense. My problem is, wouldn't it also make sense to teach helping professionals, not just counselors, about fiscal responsibility, about business management? Because I don't know the data, but I'm guessing around like 30% of us go into private practice. And anybody who's going into clinical mental health is interested in some way in private practice, most likely. Yet there's no business classes. We're not tackling the business aspects of really anything. And even if you're not interested in private practice or going to business for yourself, we should still learn fiscal responsibility for our own benefit, but also for the sake of our clients, right? So that we can, again, be there for them, be present with them, and not have to be worried about so much on our own end, right? We need to be able to fill our cup so that we can serve other people, right? We know this. Yet in our counselor education programs or our counseling programs, I'm not seeing it, right? We don't have standards in place for this. There's like an understanding that we're getting prepared to provide quality clinical services. But the other aspects, like if we were to do private practice, like we're not learning marketing. We're not learning how to build a business plan. We're learning about kind of like networking stuff and like the idea of like getting referrals, sure, but that doesn't guarantee consistent income and revenue or sustainability, right? We're not learning about I'm thinking of like QuickBooks or like kind of billing software to use. We're not learning about like how finding the primary, like the quality location for us, not quality location, but like the best location for us in regards to the population we want to serve, right? So if we were building a business plan, we would be thinking about the population that we're trying to serve, and then also try to locate ourselves in a place where that would be beneficial, considering the cost of the location, of course, as well. And even considering things like if you're working with marginalized communities, you need to be in a location where they can reach you, right? So like for example, if you need to be on, if you're working with the low socioeconomic status group and not your population doesn't always have a car that can get to you, then you need to be on the bus line, right? That would all come up in the business planning aspect of it, among other things. I don't really know what this tangent's about. I was just kind of upset. And like part of what I'm thinking about is like I'm working on my comprehensive exams right now, and this will be like a proposal for my dissertation. And I want to challenge our counselor education or counseling programs to incorporate more business aspects into our training. But I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. I'm going to interview some people to see what their experience has been like and what the transition has been like to go from graduating with a master's in counseling to transitioning to private practice, and kind of what are the challenges of that, and like how counselor education did prepare us for it, or maybe where the gaps are and what could be different. For example, I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I saw an article about some clinicians who ran a course. So it was a counselor education kind of course. I'm assuming it was like an elective, where every weekend, like every couple weeks, they would meet and work on a different aspect of a business plan, like developing your vision and mission statements, thinking about marketing, like what kind of marketing are you doing, and like, how much time and energy and cost would that take? What population are you serving? Different areas of business in that area, so that by the end of the course, they would have a business plan. And what they found is like, by the end of it, a lot of students felt more confident about the idea of going to private practice. It eliminated a lot of that uncertainty. And they learned, of course, a lot of business principles that would aid them in the future, both in business and outside of business, right? So, I'm playing with different ideas to see what that would look like, but I'm willing to bet that, especially looking at these statistics, that a lot of counselors would be interested in this kind of information, especially if we're having to work multiple jobs to like make ends meet and do our job, which is helping people, right? So if we learn a little bit more, financial literacy and how to incorporate business principles to help us be able to primarily focus on the clinical practice and not so much worrying about our debt, or other financial responsibilities as much, I think that would be a good thing, right? So anyways, let me know what you think. If you're a counselor out there, let me know like what's maybe some of this, if this is resonating with you, or if this is your experience. I would love to hear about it, or also some ideas and thoughts that you have towards like what could be done differently, right? How can we prepare counselors to go into private practice, right? And actually, as I'm talking, another idea is thinking about is like not just incorporating business aspects in the classes, but also thinking about providing it within supervision, or looking for outside mentors that could help teach business principles. Like ideally, I would say like having a supervisor, if you're interested in private practice, having a supervisor or one of your supervisors be somebody who's had a private practice, ideally a successful private practice, that can help mentor you as someone who's aspiring to go into private practice. So they can be, as they're teaching you about counseling skills, assuming you're like a master's student, in this case, as you're learning about counseling skills, you're also learning how to associate, how to think through different challenges that could erupt in business as well, and also be exposed to like different case studies and criteria that the supervisor might throw at you in this case, right? So right now it's just kind of like creating an idea, and I'm gathering data, I'm doing research, which is kind of how I stumbled on this counselor.org article here. But over time, I'm going to refine it for everyone, hopefully. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.